Trapped by the belief that I'm not good enough, bound by the limitations and the lies that consumed my world, this was me. It wasn't until I took the biggest leap in my life to know and trust the power within. And it was at that moment I made a choice. My past will not define me anymore. Hello, I am Teri Cardula, and I know I am not alone in this. Over the years, I have found that the number one mistake that we make is that we get in the way of our own success story. Yes, I said it. On this show, together we'll tackle limiting beliefs, self sabotage, getting stuck, fear, doubt, overwhelm, and the imposter syndrome. Join us on this journey designed to transport you beyond your limitations to a world where anything is possible. This is Talking with Teri. Hello, and welcome back to Talking with Teri, where we have powerful conversations to transform your life and your business. Today, I am so honored and excited to have Victoria Johnson joining us. She is a #1 Amazon bestselling author, a motivational speaker, spiritual teacher, and writing coach. She is part of Heal Your Life national trainer and life coach, and she's also a Hay House expert. She's also studied under some of the greatest thought leaders of our time, including Louise Hay, Debbie Ford, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and also Dr. Robert Holden, and many more. So I'm super excited. I just love this being. You're just amazing white light in this world. So let's dive in and welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Whenever, like-minded people can get together like this, I feel like we just raise the vibration of everything that's happening in the world. And when we get together and when we talk, we also, as Marianne Williamson so profoundly said, give other people permission to do the same. So thank you for being who you are, and thank you for having your podcast.
Yes, this is great. Okay, so for some folks that are not familiar with you, tell me how you came to be on your path and on your journey, and how you came to be where you're at today.
Okay, well, how long do you have?
22 minutes.
I'll just cut to it. So for me, my story is that I, like so many people, dealt with rejection very early on in my life. And it became a part of my identity. And, really what I was self-described as. This person, this little voice in my head was always like, rejection, rejection, rejection. Mm. I deserve to be left. Everyone leaves me, and so on. And so as I lived this way, it became, of course, a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
And I needed to learn to change the way I thought. But when you don't know you need to learn that, it's a bumpy road.
Yeah.
And so I'm so blessed that early on in my life, I was exposed to some of those great thought leaders that you were speaking of, and in particular to Louise Hay and her work with You Can Heal Your Life and the Heal Your Life workshops. And it was a game changer for me. I finally felt like I had found my truth, and I had found I found other people who believed what I believed and felt how I felt, and how they had overcome, and how they had miraculously healed their life so that they could go on and let go of those stories they were telling themselves. I told myself that, the I deserve to be left. I told myself as an older person that, men can't be trusted, and all of these different stories. And then I manifested all those things in my life. So now I'm manifesting the most amazing things in my life, including an amazing husband who has just changed my world and my perception of what relationships are, because I'm living now from this place of self-love.
Wow. That is profound. And I think, I feel like that's kind of our journey for a lot of us, right? Is that going back to self-love, right? We are born these pure positive energy beings, and yet somewhere on our path, we either lose that, or we get told something different, or, we buy the lies of other people's stories, right? And when we're so young, we don't know the difference, right? We don't know that that's not okay. It's not going to serve us. But in some way, we find our way back to that pure positive love. So let me ask you this. At what point what point in your journey that was like, okay, I know that I'm living from a place of rejection, but what was that moment before made a choice to say, okay, I need to change this or shift this, or like, was there a moment that you were aware of that you had that insight?
I think it was a bit of a process.
Okay.
Um, and so for me, how I mean, I knew all of this stuff in the back of my mind, right?
Right.
Had been exposed to different, like I said, teachers and so on, but I wasn't living that way. And I was depressed. I was anxious. I was giving everything I had to everyone else and really didn't have a lot left for me. Even though I had a life I loved, I still had those feelings of depression and anxiety and exhaustion. And I was caring for my mom while owning a business and making sure that business was running well, and employing people and needing to make sure that, that they were able to keep working and getting those paychecks and everything while I cared for my mom. And when I was caring for my mom, there was a real healing process because I really felt, honestly, for the first time in my life, even though I'm sure that's not true, that's a story I was telling myself, I really felt for the first time in my life that she loved me and that she wanted me and that she was choosing me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so there was so much healing that was started with that. And then after my mom passed, I really had no choice but to dive right in and
Yeah.
say, this is my calling, this is my ministry, this is why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to learn everything I can about this and healing my life and helping other people to do the same thing. And it has been a complete game changer in every area of my life. In relationships, I still am an entrepreneur and have 3 other locations like medical clinics, and carry on with all of that while I full time do my Heal Your Life work and have the energy to do so because of the love and the light and the inspiration of being with these like-minded people like yourself, like your listeners, that just continues to refuel and refuel and refuel rather than exhaust. And it's just such a beautiful thing. We really can do anything.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And as you were talking about your mom and those final days in your transformation, I just got goosebumps like all over, which just means for me, that just means truth. Right. And so, having that experience, and I mean, how beautiful, what a gift she gave to you on her final days, is to almost kind of like give validation or confirmation that you are enough, you are loved, you are, you are needed, you are wanted, right?
Oh,
That's
now I
so
have
beautiful.
goosebumps.
So beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful because I think sometimes when we don't get that early on, in whatever capacity, and like we go on searching for it, and it's almost like this longing that never gets fulfilled, and we can search every single place and every single where, all the places, but it's sometimes we end up empty handed, and we don't feel complete. And so what a beautiful, you know, way in which that transformed for you.
Yes, yes, it was such a blessing. It really was. And, when people say to me, oh, you did such a good thing taking care of your mom, I tell them that it was a blessing. It was
Yeah.
an absolute blessing because of how it impacted my life. 4 years of an emotional roller coaster,
Yeah.
but a blessing.
Yeah. And
And
just
like,
think of the work that you did during that time. Like, think of
yeah,
the you you 4 years of, you stepping out into your brand new self, right?
yes,
Ugh.
yes, it was such a blessing, such a gift.
And I think too, like like you come from that experience, and then like you said, you said, okay, this is my time. And you no longer was putting your tiptoes in. You like just dove right in and said, okay, I'm going on the spiritual path. And I mean, one thing after another, I'm certain that, in my experience too, is just like one thing after another led to another. It was almost like you open this up and you go down that, and then like that ultimately opens something else up, and you're like, oh, and like, I don't know about you, but my brain got so curious. It was like, oh, like what? And then like my curiosity really just started being the driving force of really opening up so many other possibilities.
It's so true what you're saying. And, when you're on the right path, everything comes together. And, I knew I was on the right path. And because of that, all of these different doors that you're talking about just kept opening, right? So if you're a listener today and you're struggling, asking yourself, am I on the right path? Or is this struggle something that I'm creating in my mind? Is it resistance? And really just helping yourself to determine that. And if you believe that you are on the right path, and if you can let go of your resistance, I would really encourage you to just take these steps of faith and do what you need to do to your own betterment, to the betterment of yourself, so that you can continue to grow. And like Teri was saying, once you do that, you get that snowball effect, and you just keep growing and growing, and more doors and more opportunities are open, and your life just becomes fuller and fuller. And honestly, I say this all the time, I could not have made this up. I sat down with my little planner and planned this. But the universe has great plans when we give up our control.
Yes. And I think absolutely. And what I talk about a lot of times is that having people come into an alignment. And that just means that our passion, our purpose, our potency, like all just comes into alignment. And you're right. Like doors start opening up, ideas. I mean, chance run-ins with people it's just a game changer. And like, it becomes fun. Like it becomes like, it's almost like playful. It's like, I wake up in the mornings and sometimes I'm like, oh, what kind of magic is going to happen today? Or what kind of miracle am I experiencing today? And it becomes like, and I said this the other day and I'm like, hopefully I don't offend anyone, but it almost becomes addictive in like a really healthy, in the most healthy way addictions can be. So, but it becomes your constant fuel. And if you're out of alignment, really quickly, like I'm off. And so when we have that awareness, it's like, okay, now we have that contrast, right, of what this feels like and what this doesn't, and we can easily start to recognize it faster to get back on the path, quicker and easier.
And that's such a good point that, you set yourself up for the day when you wake up and you say, ooh, what magic is going to happen today? You set yourself up for that, right?
Yeah.
And the universe is like, all right, let's
go time. Yeah, let's play. Let's do this.
Absolutely. And it's just, you talked about contrast. And, we're all human. We're all going to have those days when we wake up and we're just feeling a little bit low that day. But remembering that we have the choice of the thoughts we think. And so, we can just transpose those thoughts, one thought after the other, and lift ourselves higher and higher. And we don't have to stay stuck in that little rut all day long, all week long, all month long, all year long. We can choose to come out of it and really loving yourself enough to make that a priority.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So let me ask you this. For folks that do find themselves like slipping into that and getting stuck, whether that's a day or a week or sometimes a month or 6 years, you've probably experienced that as well, like having folks that have been stuck a really long time. What is one thing that people, if they didn't listen to anything else, but they listen to this, what's one like tool or strategy or nugget that you could impart on the listeners as far as something that they can start doing today?
So the number one thing that I would say is have a daily routine that sets you up for success.
Love it.
So you wake up in the morning. Here's what I do. I wake up in the morning. I've got a couple of minutes to do my personal grooming, that kind of thing. And then I make a tea and I immediately go downstairs I have a room that's set up just for mindfulness. There's a journal in there. There's some books in there, no computers, nothing like that. And I will sit and, either 15 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever that day brings, just writing, thinking, reflecting, meditating, setting myself up for the day, knowing that at 9 o'clock I'm going to be at my desk, but whatever I do prior to that is for my own personal growth. When I hit my desk at 9 o'clock in the morning, you can imagine the amazing headspace I'm in, right?
Yeah.
I haven't spent all my time creating more chaos, through social media, or wondering, what I need to be doing and cleaning and caring for other people and so on. Now, each person is going to have their own routine in the morning, and it may be 15 minutes. And I tell people this all the time. This doesn't have to be complicated, right? There's a million things on YouTube that you can put on that's 5 minutes long while you brush your teeth, wash your face, comb your hair,
Yes.
right? Just make sure that you are feeding yourself good quality information for your mind every single day. And that will be one of the habits that sets you up for success. And I know we're running short on time here, but I just want to share one more thing about that.
Yeah.
And I read it recently. It might have been in James Clear, Atomic Habits, that book.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, and this really stuck with me, if you want to know where you're going to be a year from now, look at what you're doing today. Because what you're doing today and every day is where you're going to be a year from now. So if you are focusing on your own personal growth, your own healing, loving yourself more, working towards your goals, you're going somewhere. You're going to be in a different place a year from now. And we as human beings, we need that growth.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's brilliant. And you're right. It doesn't have, you don't have to overcomplicate things. Start small. Start with 1 minute. You know, when I was on the path of meditation, like I just could not, do it. But I started with 1 minute, and then I expanded to 2 minutes, and then I expanded to, and now I just do 8 minutes. Okay. It's my, I have a beamer machine. So it's 8 minute treatment. And so I hop on, and that's my, and it makes it really easy, but it works for me. But you're right. It just starts somewhere, because those habits, those daily habits, exactly what you said, is going to set yourself up. It's really the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So if I'm recreating a new default, and this default is serving me in the highest and greatest good, it's going to continue. I'm going to continue down that self-fulfilling prophecy, which is going to serve us in the long run, which is super juicy, right? So I love it. Oh, thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor to be having you on our show. So where do people find you? What's the best way for people to find you? And we'll be putting this information down in the show notes as well.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So you can find me on my website, victoriajohnson.org. If you're interested in more information on the Heal Your Life training, you can find that at thetraining.ca. Instagram, Heal Your Life Canada. Facebook, Heal Your Life Training. You can email me at healyyourlifecoach@gmail.com. And I have a couple of podcasts. Just search my name, things will come up. Victoria Johnson, if you add the tag on there, Heal Your Life, there'll be lots for you to enjoy.
Yes, this is such a delight. So go check out her information. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Teri. I appreciate you so much and who you are and what you're doing for this world. You're just one of those people that when people meet you, they just automatically love you. And I'm so glad that you are sharing yourself with more and more people. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Like attracts like, right? Right back to you. Thank you. I am so grateful that you joined me for this episode. If you've enjoyed this, then there's just one thing that I would like you to do. Click to subscribe and leave me a rating and review. As my way to thank you, let's connect for a free consultation. Just reach out to me at talkingwithteri, that's TERI.com, to book your time.